George Lucas's Star Wars movies, you probably wondered, how did he do that? How did he do all those special effects? Tonight, we'll take you behind the scenes of the new Star Wars film, perhaps the most eagerly anticipated movie ever, to show you how he does it.
Why don't you take this guy, put him over here.
All right.
Back in there. Take another one like him and stick him over here.
In a darkened screening room, George Lucas is using a laser pointer to show the 45 computer animators who are working on his new Star Wars movie, the first in 15 years, just how he wants a big battle scene to look.
And then keep this guy here.
Okay.
And then have him firing, instead of firing dead off to the right, have him fire over here.
Everybody here works for Industrial Light and Magic, the special effects company Lucas created 2 decades ago to make the first Star Wars. Computer technology has advanced so much since then that the digital effects in the new episode are to the original roughly what talkies were to silent pictures.
It's like sketching with a pencil, and suddenly somebody gives you paint, and you have all these colors. And you've always seen what you've been painting in color, but you've never had the color to do it with. So now, finally, I've got color. And so now I can paint the way I was originally seeing things, and I like that.
So do all the animators at Industrial Light and Magic, ILM. They don't just turn out special effects for Lucas. You name it, the dinosaurs in Jurassic Park, the tornadoes in Twister, the aliens in Men in Black, they all came out of the computers at ILM. Now, with Star Wars, Lucas is expecting ILM to set a new standard in wow. The work is so complicated and meticulous that each animator is responsible for just 2 seconds of finished film per week. Twice a week, they show their blink-of-an-eye shots to the boss.
Now this is the new Darth Maul jumping off.
Yeah, that's a lot better.
I think that works way better now.
You've seen these before, and
yeah,
the changes, and now this is the final approval.
Changes. Yeah, I love this. See, this was actually shot out in the desert in 150-degree heat.
Now, how did you do those animals? Are they camels that you've changed?
No, they're old cyber animals.
Cyber animals? There's a new term. Actually, it's one of the big breakthroughs in the new movie. All kinds of cyber characters completely conjured up from the computer.
That guy's a cyber character. He's not real. The guy that was jumping.
The way they used to make movies, that guy would have been a stunt double. In Lucas's movie, stunt doubles are just created in the computer. And not just doubles. He has several computer-generated lead characters full of personality and, well, humanity. Look at this early version of the scene shot on location and covered with Lucas's editing notes.
Any public credits? Any public credits are no good out here. I need something more real.
Back at the computer, the guy in the hat gets deleted and replaced by a digital character. Only his voice remains.
Public credits? The public credits are no good out here. I need something more real.
It's 95% a digital movie, which means that it's got digital characters or digital sets or something going on in it, where most movies, you know, it's about 5 to 10 minutes at the most.
And George has said, okay, we're going to make the digital backlot movie.
What is it? Define that, digital backlot.
Well, you shoot a lot of the scenes with the actors with small sets and a lot of blue screens behind them because you're going to enlarge it. You're going to do something you can't do any other way.
On the digital back lot, a lightsaber fight can be shot like this, and then made to look like this.
Well, like that shot you saw of the landing platform.
Yes.
Well, there's a whole scene that takes, actually there's 2 scenes that take place on that landing platform. Well, you couldn't build that set. There's just no way you could actually build something like that because it's in a completely fictitious city, a completely fictitious environment. It starts down in the library in research, and then it comes up here to conceptualize, and the art department designs the stuff while I'm writing the screenplay.
Lucas began writing more than 4 years ago. As he did, his team of artists, headed by Doug Chang, started sketching and painting and modeling working toward the Lucas seal of approval.
I say I need a bunch of creatures. Give me a whole bunch of different creatures. So there's a bunch of artists, and they also have a contest. And I kind of, everybody submits stuff, and I say, well, I like this, but I like the head of this one. I want to put on the body of this one. I like this. I like that. I like these features.
Special attention was paid to lead characters like this guy named Jar Jar. How did those ears come about?
We originally came up with Jar Jar. He had really short dog ears, and George thought he'd be more funny and have more personality with these big elephant-like ears.
Once Lucas approved those ears, the model was sent to ILM and actually scanned into a computer in 3D. That's when Rob Coleman and his team of animators took over.
A whole technology had to be developed to handle the ears because of the interaction with the cloth and the ears with his back. So that had to be invented. That wasn't here before. There was a little inklings of it.
And clothing. Nobody had ever done real clothing before. I mean, realistic clothing that moves.
Yeah.
And he's a major character, so he has to have a real range of expressions and emotions.
We have 400 little sliders that we can change, everything from cheek puffs to eye blinks to muscle bends to everything that layers into making this character as believable as the live-action character standing beside him. The bar is at the highest when you have live action right on the screen. The audience is watching Liam Neeson, and they've got Jar Jar there. And Liam Neeson is real, 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 real. And then we have to come up and make ours as real, because if we don't, the audience will pick up on it immediately and say, there's something about that that's not, I don't believe that.
So you're out of the movie.
It looks like Roger Rabbit. You can't have it be like Roger Rabbit. For 90% of the audience, you have to make it so that they just say, I don't know how they did it, it just was a real character.
Some purists worry that Lucas is making his computer characters too real.
People come and they say, oh, all this digital stuff, doesn't that make everything phony? Doesn't that make it, it's not true, it's not real? I said, movies aren't true. It's all fake. The story is fake. Hello. The characters are fake. The sets are fake. There is no city there. That's not New York City. You go behind it. It's a big piece of wood with a painting on it. And all I'm doing is I've taken it to the next step. And now I can create digital characters. There wouldn't be any point in creating an actor.
He says he'll never take the step of creating fake humans.
Hey, Jar Jar. Huh?
He prefers his digital characters to be originals, not copies.
My tongue is fatted. My tongue.
Just how big a technical milestone will the new movie be? We went to no less an authority than Steven Spielberg, one of Lucas's best friends and biggest customers.
He's now not only taken images, but he's taken skies and clouds and backgrounds and atmospheres and light and shadow, and he's painted a world that would be cost prohibitive to do the old-fashioned way.
And it's not cost prohibitive?
Well, George owns ILM, so I'm not quite sure what kind of a break he's getting from his own company. I have to think if I had made this movie, it would cost at least 4 times what it cost George to make.
That's also because Spielberg's films are bankrolled by Hollywood. Lucas is paying for Star Wars entirely on his own, so he has an almost unprecedented amount of independence and control.
When I make a movie, I pay attention to how much it costs, but at the same time I get to do the things that I want to do without somebody arbitrarily coming in and saying, no, you can't do that. You don't need that in the movie.
That happened to Lucas at the beginning. Studio executives cut 5 minutes from his first hit, American Graffiti. That put a bitter taste in his mouth about Hollywood, and it sounded to us as if his resentment is as strong as ever.
The problem is the studio executives. The problem is that the studios used to be owned by people that cared about the movies. Now they're corporations. They don't love movies. They don't go to movies. They don't know what a movie is. And they do focus groups to try to determine who will go see a movie.
And Hollywood does that.
And Hollywood does it. And they try to change the story to fit what they think what the polling results are. And you can't do that. That's not the way you make movies. Because it is not a business. It's an art form.
An art form Lucas controls completely. While his animators need his approval for every move they make, another group of artists need him to sign off on every sound effect in the movie. Ben Bird is in charge of all that sound.
Very little of what is done on this film is truly synthesized. We record naturally existing sounds and modify them and process them. I have here my electric shaver, and a salad bowl from home. And I discovered one day that if I took the electric shaver and put it in the salad bowl and moved it around, that you could get a very interesting resonance. And kind of like a little musical instrument.
When we saw those big transports come overhead, it had that really weird sound.
That's it.
Very disturbing.
That's a salad bowl. Today, Burt is putting sound into a sequence called the pod race. Think drag racers in outer space. How long will you work on a scene, Ben? Like this one with so many layers.
Well, I've been with this scene for 3 years.
He has to build it in layers. First, the dialogue.
Oh, this is gonna be messy. Me not watching.
Then crowd noise. Then announcers.
Start your engines.
And finally, all those engines. And Lucas is still trying to make each individual engine sound just the way he wants.
Boom, 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 boom. And then Annie says, and then
So the idea of each one having a separate pulse.
Each one has a separate pulse so that they build on top of each other and they don't collide with each other.
Look lower. Right.
A few weeks later in London, Lucas gets the final layer of sound as a 100-piece orchestra, an 88-voice choir, and composer John Williams record a rousing score.
I enjoy the music more than anything because I don't have to do anything. I just let him do it. I said, I want something very powerful, very uplifting, and and then he writes something brilliant.
The musical score is the only part of the movie over which Lucas does not exercise absolute control.
You're really creating this as you go along, and the movie's coming out in May.
Well, you do it day by day, moment by moment, layer by layer. It's like watching a painter. You just, you put colors. It's not done until it's done, until you put the final stroke on it.
He says he won't apply the final stroke until about 2 weeks before the movie opens. That would be suicidal for most filmmakers, but Lucas has his own digital playground, so he can keep directing that battle scene over and over and over.
And this guy back here doesn't actually have to get killed. Oh. He can still be there. We'll kill him off screen.
It's unusual enough for George Lucas to let anyone, including us, behind the scenes of his new movie. When we come back, he takes us behind the scenes of his life.